Lots your immediate reaction to the move to dismiss Claude Julien.
Well, interestingly, one of my colleagues on the desk here had mentioned something about this yesterday, and I was a little bit shocked then. So when it actually transpired today, I was completely shocked still, even though I had a little heads up. This colleague right here might have. And you didn't know for sure.
I had no idea. I just heard it through the grapevine that he might be in trouble, but then when at the quarter pole in the season, you hear about a lot of teams being in trouble, so I don't take it too seriously, or I didn't take it too seriously yesterday. As a matter of fact, I was in an article quoting, well, it's not like, I'm looking at Claude Julien getting fired. I said that 2 days ago, and I'm going, oh my God, what am I doing here? But I was thinking that he was pretty safe. So anything can happen in this game. It's a crazy game.
Yeah, so much for no coaches will be fired this year. No one wants to pay another guy, blah, 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 blah. If you don't have the performance, anybody can be fired this year still. That we just found out. As 100% certain as Marc Bergeron is on when to make the decision. We just heard him say that. We're 100% certain you can still get fired in this league.
Yeah, and when you can get fired with a 9-5-2 record, I think anybody can get fired. I mean, they were really good, except for the last 10 days.
And clearly that's what they were focusing on, Bruce, was what happened this last stretch. Let's focus there. What's happened in Montreal they haven't been doing that they were doing earlier in the season?
Well, they got a tendency to start off really well. And with all the new guys in the lineup, I think they were probably a little bit jacked up to get out there. And now they just started to come down to earth a little bit.
You mean the start of the season?
Start of the season,
yes.
Yeah. And, every team is going to go through a malaise or a bad spot. And they weren't getting probably anything from the power play to the regular scoring, anything that they'd like to in the last 7 or 8 games. But personally, I think this was a thought of that if they started out bad, that it wasn't going to go well for Claude.
Yeah, and the numbers just have not been great lately. They're trending down. Does that mean you get fired? No. Every team is going to go through a period when you're not going to be good this year, especially when you have no training camp. So that's not shocking. It is a little bit shocking that he does get let go, but at the end of the day, it clearly sends a message that expectations are sky high in Montreal. Marc Bergeron identified a number of weaknesses they had after last year's great performance in the play-in and Montreal exceeding expectations. They felt like they addressed them. They went out and got Josh Anderson. They added Toffoli. They reworked the D. They added Jake Allen.
Corey Perry,
veteran leadership. We can keep going. They made a lot of changes. They felt good about it. They started great. We just saw that. That's not uncharacteristic for Montreal. Yeah. We saw that also on that board. But as soon as they hit the skids here just a little bit, that was it.
Yeah, I've been through that, so I know it's not a fun situation for Claude today.
But you've been in situations, Bruce, where a team got off to a hot start, slumped a little bit, and all of a sudden they make a change. What does the outgoing coach feel like if you're Claude Julien right now?
Well, I mean, it's like everything. I mean, Claude's got a lot of pride. Coaches have a lot of pride. And then it's not like, people get fired on their jobs and then they go home and nobody knows about it. Now, everybody in Canada and everybody in the U.S. know about it. You're a little embarrassed no matter what the circumstances are. You don't want to leave the house or talk to anybody right away because it's upsetting. Every coach I've ever met takes so much pride in the work they do and the hours that they put in. So to be let go, it's not a fun deal. Especially in the hotbed that he's living in right now, you start to go into your own little cocoon for a while unless you get a job right away.
And what does it feel like if you're the assistant coach? You're coming in here. Do you put in a completely new system in place, particularly the power play, penalty kill, or do you already have what the previous coach had in place and just tinker with it and make some adjustments?
Well, you know what? I'll tell a story. Like when I got hired, I was hired as an interim, and I think it was because Dale Hunter had a busy schedule in London, so he had asked, this is what I'm hearing through the grapevine, that if he could delay it for 7 to 10 days, which is why I was brought in. And initially, I mean, we were in last place in Washington, and so I was going in and saying, okay, let's just do what we do and let's do it better. And, you know, and then, because I had asked the question, I've seen the interim coaches and they usually let go and they never have another job. And I'd asked George, I said, do I still have my job in Hershey when I go back? And he said, yes, you do. And I said, okay. So then I went back into the room and I said, the heck with it. I'm 53 years old. This is going to be my only chance to get an NHL job. I changed everything around and did exactly what we did in Hershey. And for us, fortunately, we won Game 1, then we won Game 2, then we won Game 3. And George said, Dale, just let's stay away for a little bit and we'll see how this goes. And we just kept winning. And so I got lucky and kept the job for a while.
How long did that run go on? Dale eventually did replace you, correct?
Yes. Dale did
How many years later, though?
4.5 years later.
That's incredible.
But to say, just keep them off at the ultimate, keep them at bay. It's interesting for Montreal overall, lots. I feel like it's a playoff team still, but they went from being the class of the division to now Toronto being superior. You can make a case perhaps for Edmonton or other teams, but is Montreal still, in your estimation, a playoff team?
Unfortunately, I really haven't had them there to start, and I've been a little bit of an outlier here, and I've eaten a lot of crow on this point because when they start as well as they did, but as I like to say, sometimes there's regression to the mean, and in my opinion, this is closer to who they are, although this is a worse stretch to get back to maybe a little bit of a medium. So when I look at it, the power play, that started to really leak the last 10 games. The penalty kill, that started to leak. And you hear things coming out of press conferences, Bruce, like, hey, we got Sherratt, we got Edmondson, we got the Shea Weber guy, and we can't kill penalties. We got the best penalty killer in the NHL in Carey Price. What's going on? So there was some unhappiness for sure from the management booth. But again, short sample size.
Yeah.
You know, I still am shocked, even now.
Yeah, I would never have thought that if anybody was going to go, it wouldn't be Claude.
Right.
And that's, you know, I mean, they stood beside him when he had the heart problem last year, and I would have thought that if they were thinking of letting him go, it would have been the conversation that they had in the summer, as they have a little out there, but it's a little surprising to me.
It's always the manager's prerogative, but it definitely is an indictment against Kirk, Muller, and Claude Julien. Any way you look at it, this is a personal decision. And, you know, I was shocked because Kirk stepped in last year and did an admirable job. Then you hear things about they weren't happy about certain things, and you make a change. It is hotter than ever. I don't care if it's freezing out right now. It's hotter than ever in Montreal.
And AJ Radic was even saying that now the hot seat's even hotter for Marc Bergevin. You're making this decision now to replace the coaching staff. Well, you better make sure these things work out. Otherwise, it's an indictment of you.